Well, hello again, beautiful people. I know it is, again, the last session, but the good news is I have designed this workshop to be very interactive, which is just a fancy way of saying you get to do the hard work and I get to cheer on. So please participate. I'm going to need Dr. O'Connor by my side, if possible. Later on, you can come later, but since it is, just sit. Since it is going to be interactive, I'm going to be talking for a while, but for purposes of the exercise, which I want to be running later, I'm going to be needing 6 people per table. Is Austin around? Is it possible to make arrangements? Okay, so I'll just start in the meantime. No, I need 6 people per table. Yeah. I need groups of 6. I need groups of 6. Yeah, walk around while I look for the PowerPoint. Amasha? Do I change it myself? The PowerPoint. Yeah, it's it. Where do I point? Here. Because yesterday it wasn't working. You can huh? Okay, who do I look at? 4? Yeah, 1. Okay. Thank you. Are we good? Did we make groups of 6? Hello? Did we make groups of 6? Remember, it's supposed to be interactive. I'll just start. So my presentation today is on legal pathways and comparative policies. And the aim today is to try to see how we can advance the rights and inclusion of persons with disabilities. We're good? So I'll just start. So, just a quick exercise as we're starting. Do I have everybody's attention? I'll just wait for you to settle. We're good. Okay, guys, so to start, I'm going to need you, when you see the word disability rights or when you hear disability rights, can any one of you tell me what's the one word that comes to your mind? Any of you, I'll just walk around. Disability rights, what comes to mind? One word. Accessibility. Sorry? Accessibility. Accessibility, next. Equity, next. One at a time. Just raise your hand. Yeah. Anyone else? Equality. Who else? Anyone else? So I had accessibility, awareness, accessibility, inclusion. I heard inclusion. Yeah, inclusion. What's it? So what I actually heard was all of those form parts of disability rights, because disability rights, as you know, are here to protect and enforce the way people with disabilities are treated. So they must have access to accessibility. They can't be discriminated against. They can't be excluded. They need to be included in society. So all of those are actually disability rights. You're correct. We're doing good. Now, I just want to find out, how many of you have never heard about the United Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities? Never heard? Never? Okay. How many of you are somewhat familiar with the United Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities? Somewhat familiar? How many of you are well-versed with the Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities? Okay. So, Starting point is the Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities was a treaty that was established in 2006 with the aim of protecting and promoting the rights of persons with disabilities worldwide. It has been signed and ratified by about 180 countries. It contains general principles which governs the principles that are supposed to govern the lives of persons with disabilities. They include, for example, equality, like you said, dignity, accessibility, and over and above, they contain substantive rights about that are here to enforce and protect persons with disabilities in general. So that would mean, for example, education is a right under the convention, the right to employment is a right under the convention, so is independence, the right to live independently, amongst so many others. But in a nutshell, it is here to establish global standards to, like I said, protect the rights and dignity of persons with disabilities worldwide. And it is here to ensure equal rights, accessibility, and non-discrimination for persons with disabilities in all aspects of life. So, my next question. If we have this beautiful convention that is here, and it's supposed to protect and promote the rights and lives of persons with disabilities, why are people with disabilities still excluded today? Anyone? Another one? Come on, guys, wake up. At the back? Can we have a mic at the back, please? So I heard stigma.
So I think it's a lack of enabling infrastructure to support the convention as well as implementation gaps.
Physical barriers. Anyone else?
Lack of national legislation to support it.
Okay, anyone else? Lack of funding.
Absolutely.
Okay, so all of this, and we have seen it over the last 2 days, all of those are actually barriers that prevent people with disabilities from being afforded their rights. And the issue is, like you said, before I go on to the next slide, the issue is that there is a lot of stigma. People still don't understand disabilities. I think Alan talked earlier about the different models of disabilities. And in many countries, it is still the medical approach that prevails, which means that disability is still being seen as a defect that needs to be cured. And there is also the lack of enforcement by state parties, notwithstanding the fact that they signed and ratified the convention. Because you need to remember that the convention is here, it has been signed, it has been ratified, but for many countries, it needs to be incorporated into domestic laws to have full force and effect. In my country, for example, we do not have a Disability Act yet. We have a bill which is trying to incorporate the different aspects, the different disability rights under the convention. But in many countries, this is not the case. And even in some countries where you have the law, which is in place, the enforcement is missing. So, what are the key principles and obligations under the CRPD? So we've all mentioned it. I think we have a good picture here. Non-discrimination, accessibility and equality. And also, there are obligations that state parties must respect and abide to. And this is what we've been pushing for. We want those rights to be binding on state parties. So, if you know about the convention, did you also know that the Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities has a committee on the rights of persons with disabilities? How many of you are well-versed with the function of a committee? Okay, I know Sao went at some point, but okay. So there is the committee, which is established under the Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities, and it is here to oversee how states comply with CRPD obligations. And in fact, all states that have ratified and signed the convention must submit regular reports to the committee. And at the end of the day, what the committee does is that it evaluates the report and it gives recommendation. Like I said, it is not binding. The convention is not binding on a state, but it can take on board the recommendation. And it also importantly, the committee is here to advocate for nothing about us without us. So it actually, yes, I have a question at the back.
Sorry, the convention is legally binding because the state party has to submit the report.
Yeah,
unlike SDG, the SDG is Global Development Framework. It is not legally binding. I have to correct. I am a former committee on the rights of persons with disability, and then it is not correct, but I would like to give a clear understanding. CRPD is not, the aim of the adopting the CRPD is not only to protect the rights of persons with disability. It is because the existing international human rights law fails to protect persons who have some form of impairment or persons with disability around the world. Because each, existing human rights laws, for instance, CEDAW, child rights, the conventions on the tortures, does not, include persons who have disability in their framework. So that's why we adopt the Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disability to be the bridge of international human rights treaty. And CRPD promotes inclusive society through the 8 principle that you are right. The 7th principle on article number 3. Yep. Yeah. It is a legally binding. Whenever the state party, when state party adopt many international treaty and also international or global developments like SDG, as I said, the government, the state party don't need to report. There is no committee to monitor, but the international human rights treaty establish the committee, not only CRPD, inclusive or child rights. There is a committee. The committee has duty to oversee. It means monitor the implementations of the state party. If the implementation follow, or align with the conventions, the standard, the convention standard, that's it. And then they provide recommendation. Namely the concluding of the observation. However, the committee doesn't have authority to force, the state party to implement the concluding of the observation. It is a responsibility of the state party if they have money, they have resources, existing resources to implement in which, because there are a lot of articles, right? 33 articles. So from the human rights perspective, the state party, the human rights law does not, force a state party to implement every article. It is depend on the state party in considering the local context. However, if social rights, any social rights violations has, serious effects to political and civil rights, the state party has to immediately implement it. No matter the state party cannot excuse, okay, we don't have money. So it is social rights, even social rights affect, to civil rights. For instance, right to vote, right to election, right to vote, right to engage in the parliament. The state party can't deny. Okay, there are 3 rights: civil and political rights, economic rights, and social and cultural rights. 3 dimensions. Thank you.
Thank you. I do not have too much time to get into a law explanation, but we get the point. Perhaps you got me wrong when I said that it is not legally binding. In fact, okay, I'll do it. I'll do it quickly. You have monotheistic states and you have dualist state. Mauritius, for example, is a dualist state, which means that for the convention to be applicable, you have to actually put it in your domestic law. Okay? Maybe it makes sense to some of you, maybe it doesn't. This is Law 101. I'm sorry if I'm giving a law degree clause. But yes, in a nutshell, it needs to be implemented. So if a state party does not implement, the convention is just there to be there, you know? You have signed it, you have ratified it, but if your state party is not doing anything, then nothing would happen. And that's why we have, I was on the point that every 2 years, the state party has to submit what we call a report to the CRPD committee. And at the end of the day, the CRPD committee looks at this report and it can only make recommendations. It cannot force the state party to say, look, you have to change your elevators because they are not accessible. It can only recommend Mauritius from doing, you know what? Your lifts are not accessible. We highly recommend you to change them. But ultimately, it's up to the state party to decide. And I was saying that just before that, I was saying that the committee and over and above the whole disability movement actually we have been trying to push for an active inclusion of persons with disabilities, so nothing about us without us. And I'm just going to skip on the examples because I ran out of time. Anyway, if you want a few examples of how countries have actually domesticated and implemented the convention into their domestic laws, then you would go to the Germany law, which have excellent anti-discrimination and disability inclusion. You would go to India. We have people from India, and I've read the law in India. It's so good. It mandates accessibility. It has quotas for employment, and it provides for equal opportunity and education as well. The Act, the Rights of Persons with Disabilities Act of 2016, and also the Scandinavian countries, which are, I think, number one in the world right now. They have robust disability laws. When I'm talking about Scandinavian countries, I'm talking about Sweden, Norway, etc. And they have comprehensive welfare system where people with disabilities are actually being included. And if I go back to Germany, for example, the law mandates employers to have a certain quota of employees with disabilities, and if they don't, they actually have to pay a fine. So these are examples of countries which have actually implemented and domesticated and applied the rights under the Convention of the Rights of Persons with Disabilities into their national laws. And to go back to persistent challenges and common gaps, we mentioned it earlier. Someone mentioned it at the back. Challenges in law enforcement, and Sao mentioned it as well. It's the lack of implementation. It's that many countries struggle to actually enforce disability rights and implement the convention rights under the domestic law, and this limits what people with disabilities can actually do, and it creates gaps in what they can do. It limits them in what they can do. And another barrier which somebody mentioned, societal stigma and attitudinal barriers, so negative attitudes, like I said, the medical approach, which sees disability as being a defect, a disease. So all these negative stereotypes that prevent persons with disabilities from actually being treated equally. And that's where the convention and the role of state parties is super important here, is because they have the power to change the law, they have the power to change how persons with disabilities are viewed. And somebody also mentioned resources earlier. And this is one of the biggest gaps as well, because if a country doesn't have a resources to, for example, provide talking elevators or, the braille in elevators, then you won't have, you would just have your elevators being the standard ones, being inaccessible to all persons with disabilities. And there's also the lack of accessible infrastructure. I think someone mentioned that as well. And restricted opportunities. Now, onto the fun part. Are we all on tables of 6? Are we in groups of 6? Lauren, Amasha? Yes. Okay, so this is how it's gonna roll. Sure, Zahra, go ahead.
Because it is important. All, informations are correct, but we are missing the most important, key player. A lack of smart, strong, empower organizations of persons with disability to be educator, educational, to educate the government. Because in human life perspective, they already have a clearer, duty between duty bearers and rights holders. State party is duty bearers. But we have to, empower and build capacity of rights holder. Sorry, I'm confused myself. I am a rights holder. If you recall my storytelling, I submit lawsuits to the administrative courts, and I spent 10 years. We spent 10 years to get elevator. If you take Sky 10 and Underground 10, you will observe the accessibility. That form our advocacy, our effort. The government doesn't have, any understanding on 4 barriers. And they don't do this job because the government always saying, okay, we have a lot of jobs. This is not important. Our important is about, talking about something in the parliament, the international investment for something like that. So OPD, organizations of persons with disability, are a key player. CRPD committee adopts the general comments on full participation and equal of opportunity, meaningful participation and equal opportunity of persons with disability and their representative organizations. General comment is a tool. It is different with the concluding of the observation.
Thank you. Thank you.
You can study. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing.
I am passionate about this because we have to send, the clear messages.
We appreciate your input. We're going to let Zahra move on because it's almost time to do awards and things like that. Thank you.
And you know what, Zahra? You will actually have all the opportunity to discuss all of those because it's one of my collaborative problem-solving exercise, and we're just going to jump straight to it. So what is going to happen is that I'm going to give you a scenario, right? So the scenario is that Sally is a 16-year-old student. She has a physical disability, and she's being denied the admission into a mainstream secondary school because the building has no ramps, and the principal argues that they don't have the resources. So the student's parents, they are being supported by a local NGO, and they want Sally to be included. So what is going to happen is that you are all going to be assigned the following roles. 6 roles, one being Sally, Sally's parents, school principal, Minister of Education, NGO representative, and journalist. We're going to give you numbers, number 1 to number 6, and then each of you are going to be getting a role, and all of you together must come up with a solution for Sally. You need to see what concessions you are going to make, you need to see how you're going to get Sally into school, and remember that Sally has a word to say. So, can I ask Austin and Amasha to assigned numbers on a table. So number 1 to number 6, and then the rows are on the.
Do they have 5 minutes to do it? Tell me what the time.
You have. So each table. No, each table.
They each need to know their number. Have them count off.
Each table.
Okay.
Are we good? Yeah. Did everybody get assigned numbers? If anybody wants help to, Lauren, please help.
Okay, you roughly have about 5 minutes to focus on this.
How many minutes do I have left?
They're each. Yes. Yes. How long do you want? 5 minutes?
So you'll have roughly about 5 to 7 minutes to come to a negotiation, and then you can all design a spokesperson to speak on what solution has been reached.
No. You have a question? Here's the slide that you're working from. You each should have a role. It's like a kindergarten class. Trying to get everybody to focus and do what they're supposed to do. How are you doing? You guys good?
Okay, guys, did we come up with a solution? Did we? Do we have good news here? I'll give you about 2 more minutes, and then each one of you can designate a spokesperson to explain your solution.
I'll take the mic to each table.
That's like a powerful CEO.
Okay. So, I see some people still discussing. It might be the minister who's unwilling to make compromises.
Are you ready to get started?
We're good. We'll just take one table by one table.
Okay. Let's take this table. Your time is. Who's your leader? You got. Okay, this is the ADHD table.
Okay, wait.
ADHD.
In this group, I want to know who was who. So we have Sally's parents. Can we know who was who in this group?
Who's? Who?
We are NGO.
Oh, that's why there were so many negotiations there.
Okay, who's your spokesman? You're going to be spokesperson.
Okay, so
Hello, guys. NGO.
let's hear it, guys.
We have agreed. Okay. Let's answer. Okay. So
Who's
we
speaking?
have the NGO. We have 2 NGO members in our group. That's how important they are. We have the parent, and we have the child who does not want to participate in the conversations because she just wants solutions and wants to go to school. She doesn't want to. She shouldn't actually. We're protecting her that way. And then we have the journalist. And we have the journalist as well as the principal in the Department of Basic Education. So as the adults, we decided, as the adults, we decided to listen to Sally when Sally said she does not necessarily want to participate in the conversation. She wants to go to school. She said she wants to go to school. We are still conversing. However, in the meantime, while the adults are still deciding and fighting amongst each other and trying to figure out what Sally wants to do, we decided that Sally still needs to continue with school. We cannot stop Sally's schooling. So we will use AI and innovative ideas and videos to make sure that Sally continues. So the issue is the adults are still talking and figuring out. But if we wait for the adults to make a decisions and for the school to build a ramp and for the NGO to stop fighting and for the parents to stop being emotional and for Sally to continue to say her voice is not heard, Sally still needs to go to school.
So the solution you found, correct me if I'm wrong, is just school from home? Is it? School from home.
Zahra.
So you never found a solution, is it? First group didn't find a solution. Okay, we'll move on to the next. Okay.
Zahra, this is a dysfunctional family. Very dysfunctional.
Second table, let's move on.
They're acting out.
Second table.
You want to start?
Can I?
Okay, we are reporting the scenario from the South African perspective. Sally will file an urgent application to court.
Sally's going to court, is it?
Yes.
He's suing the school? Okay,
Yes.
Sally's suing the school. All right.
Yes. The practicality of Sally as a child suing the school is that legal aid will help. A lawyer will be briefed who will move an urgent application on behalf of Sally. We will rely on the Convention of the Rights of the Children as well as the Bill of Rights. As we know, the Convention on the Rights of the Children does say that every situation must be solved in the best interest of the child. So South Africa subscribes to international law, and it also says that foreign law may be applied. That is in terms of Section 9 of the Constitution. So in this situation, no matter whether a convention has been ratified or not domesticated, the clauses, which means the best practices of those conventions, are going to be applied in order to address the situation of Sally. Meanwhile, we should also remember that in South Africa, there's a principle that the courts are the upper guardians of children. So the case of Sally as a child is a paramount case, hence why an urgent application that is going to sue the school, that is also going to sue the Minister of Education, will be important. So even the NGO, as amicus curiae, will also be part of Sally's urgent application. Sally and the NGO will be the applicants. My colleague will continue on the other two to add on.
The school principal will write an application to the Minister of Education to demand that proper measures are implemented in that school. And then in the meantime, she may suggest that the minister must employ teachers specifically for Sally to be schooled at home while they build the ramps of that school. And then the journalist will also assist when it comes to educating the community, the awareness, bringing awareness of, inclusivity of persons with disability. Thank you.
Thank you.
And follow up.
Thank you. Excellent. Excellent. Let's see. Would you guys like to go?
Okay, so I was the school principal. Sally and her mum came to me and I said, well, I just don't have the resources, so I'm going to need you to go to the Department of Education. So the Department of Education identified that the school can and should be making reasonable adjustments to allow Sally to come, and suggested that Sally and her mum work with an NGO to help identify what Sally needs to be able to attend school. And they spoke, they worked out there could be some adjustments, such as school from home, shorter days, etc. And I think that's where we got to. Yeah.
Excellent, excellent.
Thank you.
You guys get a gold star. The other table got a blue star. Who is our spokesperson? I knew it.
Okay, who's next?
So, okay. As for us, our table, I would like to highlight that Sally is a Malaysian who has been denied admission to a school. So, when the parents were informed about the decision, the parents had to educate the principal that Malaysia has got a zero reject policy. So this policy was introduced in 2019, Hence, the school had no other option but to admit the child.
Without the
Thank you.
ramps? With or without the ramps?
Quick and sweet. I like that. Who is our leader here? Oh, I'm happy to make accommodations. It's the law. It's the law. Oh, you've been talking to the attorneys.
Yes.
Reason.
So our Sally also decided that she was not going to talk. Our Minister of Education, because she's very high profile and a very important person, was very clear that government has a lot of issues to deal with. And the matter of the ramp is not top priority. The political party that the minister is part of does not support mainstream education because the political party feels children with disabilities should be in separate special schools. But the minister is going to present to Parliament this desperate case, and maybe in the future there will be money to provide the ramp. The journalist is very, very upset. The journalist actually walked out of the room because the journalist feels that the ramp is priority to ensure that Sally gets equitable education. So the journalist is going to create a movement amongst the community to support Sally, and they'll be walking to petition the minister who thinks they live above the clouds.
Thank you.
I see a huge lawsuit. Huge lawsuit. Oh no, here's another attorney. Sit down, sit down. You can tell she's an attorney. You get 21 seconds.
Good morning, South Africa. Today there was a case of a child who has been denied education. The Minister of Justice has spoken that education is not necessary for disabled. South Africa, what is your comment?
Thank you. We have three more tables, I think. Dr. O'Connor, let's find out.
You should do it in French.
In French it will be easy. So I am the representative of the Minister of Education. We know that the need for education for Sally is very important, but because of our financial situation as in the Minister of Education, we are not allowed to spend money like that. We are very sorry, Sally. But what we propose, and after discussing with your family and with you, that our colleague journalist will try to create a fundraising in relationship with the NGO. We hope through the fundraising that the school principal will be more aware about your situation and to welcome more people with disability and to open the door of the school and education for everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. Who is our leader here? Oh, the doctor. The principal is also a psychiatrist.
Can I ask you to put that earlier slide on with the 6 names or 7 names?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, there we go.
This team decided to have a small committee organized, including Sally. Sally, we know, is also not just disabled, but she's also female. And she's also coming from a poor family, multiple grounds of discrimination. As Sally's parents, we are advocating with the school vigorously, and we are trying to advocate with agencies in the community. The Minister of Education is prepared to listen at this point in time. The NGO representative is also involved and is willing to extend his or her support. The principal has decided that this issue should not be made just Sally's. It has to be made all students with disabilities. And by advocating only for Sally, we might actually prevent other students from getting benefits. So the issue then is to write a letter to every parent in the school so that each parent will contact another parent so that they will start working towards bringing to awareness the plight of Sally and the school and all students with disabilities. Letters will be written to the Minister of Education, the NGO representative, and through the journalists we will issue comments either through social media or through the press. We also decided that the principal will continue to agitate through the ministry, through the NGOs, and find also benefactors to assist Sally separately. So we're going to adopt a two-pronged approach. One is help Sally get that ramp for the school, and we're also going to do it at a local, statewide, national, and through social media make it an international issue. If that doesn't work, the principal is willing to take a fast on a rotating basis with other students until this issue is resolved. The minister, on hearing about this, agreed that Sally's problems will be solved immediately and the issue of all children with disability will be taken to Parliament and will be debated as soon as possible to have disability issues addressed not just with Sally, but all students in the state and the country. Thank you.
Thank you.
Excellent, excellent. I know which table I'm going to sit
We
at.
have a last table, Dr.
Where's
O'Connor.
our last one?
Yeah.
They're the last.
It was the last. Thank you. Thank you,
You guys
so much.
did
Well
great,
done, guys.
great.
So, I'll start with a table that did not find a solution to Sally. You see, the point I'm trying to make here is that there is no one way of doing it. In order to find a solution for Sally, all parties need to be involved. But I know that some table mentioned that Sally did not refuse to speak and that she would sue the school, for example. But on some tables, I didn't even hear about Sally. Did Sally have a word to say in it? Sally's parents took the lead. Sally's NGO got involved. But the first point to always remember here, guys, nothing about us without us. Sally has her word to say. And then Sally's parents, I know, I have jotted down a few questions here. Sally's suing the school, for example, and I know my learned friend at the back mentioned the best interest principle of a child as a criteria for in any decision concerning Sally. But this also mirrors the principle of the Convention of the Rights of Persons with Disabilities that I mentioned, which specifically says that no one can be excluded, full participation, non-discrimination. So Sally technically could not be discriminated against. But the point I'm trying to make you see through this exercise is that multi-actor collaboration, guys. The only way to do it is if everybody is involved, if everybody is raising awareness. I heard a lot about raising awareness. I heard a lot about fundraising. I heard a lot about zero reject policy in Malaysia, which I did not know. But raising awareness, NGO fundraising, NGO helping in, and this is how you do it. It is supposed to be a collaborative approach. Disability rights can only progress if all parties, including governments, civil societies, and especially persons with disabilities are involved. And I'll jump back on something my colleagues from Rock Creek Foundation have mentioned earlier. You did. You said that you went to meet your legislator at some point. I think it was last month or last week. So this is how it's, in an ideal world, this is how it's supposed to happen. You need to raise awareness. You need to speak to acquis de droit, like we say in French, to whoever may be concerned. But there is always the possibility, guys, that no solution is reached. Because funding, disability is not a priority. Funding is missing, or Sally does not even know that she can advocate for her rights. So this is where the whole point of advocating and awareness raising comes in. And this is where, although the law is definitely a foundation of all societies and of disabilities, in whichever country it may be, the law is the foundation, but advocacy and enforcement will always be the catalyst. So we need to advocate, to promote awareness, to defend rights of persons with disabilities, and most importantly, to allow persons with disabilities to be involved and to participate in all decisions concerning them. And that's it for me, guys. Well done. Thank you.